Now that we've learned about the models available in Azure OpenAI, it's time to get to work. For this, I'll go to the main Microsoft Azure site, as we can see on the screen. I'm going to proceed to create a new resource, which shows us a list of the most popular services, and we are interested in the Azure OpenAI service. Therefore, we can look for it in this list, Azure OpenAI. This brings up the service we are interested in as the first option, which is labeled as Azure OpenAI. Let's indicate that we want to create a new resource of this kind. This takes us to the wizard to create this resource. We need to select some options, such as the resource group. In my case, I'm going to create a special resource group for these cars. So I'm going to call it, for example, Azure OpenAI cars. I'll indicate that I want to create this resource group. Next, we have the option to select the region where we want to host the resource we're creating in Microsoft Azure. Here's an important point to consider. We should select the region according to the model we want to use. Why do I say this? Well, if we go to the Azure OpenAI documentation, you can see the different models we can use as part of this service. If we select, for example, the DALL-E option, which allows us to create images from text, and go to the specific section to see where this model is available, you'll see that the DALL-E 2 model, for instance, is only available in East US, and the DALL-E 3 version is only available in Sweden Central. Therefore, we must carefully check which model we want to use to see where we will deploy the resource as part of the Azure service. In our case, we will start by conducting some tests with the completions model, which is actually the 3.5 version of the GPT model. Let's see where it's available. Here we have the option and availability of these models, and we are interested in using the completion model, which is available as part of, or rather is named GPT 3.5 Turbo Instruct, the one we are interested in. We can create the resource either in East US or in Sweden Central. So I'll select the East US region, which will allow us to practice with this resource, as I mentioned earlier. Then we select the East US region. We need to enter a name, for example, Azure AI Test 1. This will check if the name is available, as there are times when the name might already be taken. For instance, if we input Azure, we see that this name is already claimed. Someone else is using it. Therefore, we must make sure that the name is unique. I'm going to select a pricing tier. The only option available is Standard S0, so I choose this option. Click on Next, 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 and on the final tab, I'll indicate that I want to create the resource, which will begin the deployment of this service as part of my Azure subscription. Let's give it a few seconds until this process completes. After a few seconds, we can see that the deployment has been completed successfully. We can click on the button to go directly to the resource we created, which displays all the information about the resource. Here we have information such as the API type, the pricing tier, the location, etc. What interests us here is to go to the bottom of the overview section, because we have the option to go directly to a section called Azure OpenAI Studio, which is a type of playground where we can perform various tests with the different models. So I'll click on this option. This will open a new window. It will bring up all the information from the resource we created in order to test the different models as part of the service. I'll make this a bit bigger. There, we have now reached Azure OpenAI Studio, where we can perform various tests with this completion model.